Hey everyone, welcome to the video. We've been reading through Asterix the Gaul, learning a little bit about ancient Gallic culture, the culture of the Gauls, a little bit about Roman history, some English etymology, and some English words. Let's jump in. We read about Asterix last time. Now we're moving over here to his friend Obelisk, which is pronounced Obelix. Well, obelisk is a play on words, as are so many of the words in this book. An obelisk in English is an ancient Egyptian stone, really, an ancient Egyptian monument, or the Egyptians started this. They started creating these obelisks and placing them around Egypt, and now we have imitation obelisks all over the place. For example, the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., a monument to George Washington, is an obelisk. So his name is Obelisk, and it says here, well, let's read this first and then we'll break it down. Obelisk is the way we say it in English. In the story, it's Obelix, because it's a French story, and that's how they pronounce it, Obelix. Obelix, Asterix's inseparable friend. He is a menhir delivery man by trade. He's addicted to wild boar. Obelix is always ready to drop everything and go off on a new adventure with Asterix, so long as there's wild boar to eat and plenty of fighting. Okay, so I have several little jokes in here and several English phrases we need to talk about. So Obelisk is Asterix's inseparable friend. So separable means it can be pulled apart. It can be taken apart. So if you're separable, you can be pulled apart from one another. If you have a friend and you are separable, then you can be separated. But if you are inseparable, this is an English word meaning always together. They are inseparable friends. In is a Latin prefix meaning not, so it means they are not separable. They cannot be pulled apart. They're always together and they cannot be separated. They're inseparable friends. Obelix is a menhir delivery man by trade. In English, by trade is a phrase that we can use to mean for a job. So I am a teacher by trade. I am an entrepreneur as well by trade. I do different things and that is my job. Perhaps you are a firefighter by trade or a police officer by trade. Perhaps you're a soldier in the military by trade. In other words, that is your job. That's what you do for a living. Obelix is a menhir delivery man. So he delivers, he's a delivery person for menhirs. Now this is a little bit silly, and it's also a play on his name. His name means essentially a menhir. A menhir is a long stone. It's a standing stone. And an obelisk is the Egyptian form of a standing stone. So if we go here, a menhir is a standing stone. These are located all throughout Ireland and England and France and other parts of Europe. Mainly the UK and northern France, northwestern France is where you'll find most of them, but they're throughout Europe. Menhirs, standing stones, are located throughout Europe. Menhir is an old word meaning stone, and here long. So it's a long stone. And these are not uncommon in this part of the world. So the funny thing is that the Gauls, here's one in France, by the way, in Brittany. The funny thing is that this story is based in northwest Gaul, where many of the menhirs are located, where many of the standing stones are located. And so the authors are having a little bit of fun by calling him Asterix and also having him deliver menhirs. Now, honestly, this is a joke because the menhirs in Europe, the standing stones in Europe, are enormous and heavy, and no one was carrying them around and delivering them as if they were packages. So it's a little bit of a joke. So Obelisk is a Menhir delivery man by trade, and he's addicted to wild boar. In English, if you're addicted to something, you cannot get enough of it. So some people, unfortunately, are addicted to drugs. Some are addicted to alcohol. Some are addicted to cigarettes. And addiction is something that it's terribly hard to break. We find ourselves committed to a bad habit that perhaps we don't want to be committed to. So Asterix, in this case, no, I'm sorry, Obelisk is addicted to wild boar. He really likes to eat wild boar. What is wild boar? These are basically wild pigs that live in various parts of the world. Wild pigs are pigs that live in the wild. They don't live on a farm. They're not domesticated. They're not tame. They're wild and they run through the forest, much like deer and bears and other wild animals. Obelisk, I'm sorry, I keep saying his name incorrectly. Obelisk really likes eating wild boar. That's his addiction. Obelisk is always ready to drop everything and go off on a new adventure with Asterix. In English, if we say someone is ready to drop everything, that does not mean that they are putting down the things that are in their hand. If we are ready to drop everything in English, that means we will stop doing the things that we're doing. In this case, Obelisk is delivering menhirs. He'll stop delivering standing stones so that he can go enjoy spending time with his inseparable friend, Asterix. So in English, when we drop everything, we're usually putting down our duties, our obligations, the things that we should be doing, like our job, maybe to go to a sports event with a friend, or to go to a restaurant, or to go spend time with a friend. So Obelisk is always ready to drop everything and go off on a new adventure with Asterix. So long as there's wild boar to eat and plenty of fighting. So Obelisk will drop everything and go off with Asterix if he can do two things. If he can eat wild boar, that's his addiction, and if he can help Asterix fight Romans. They're always fighting Romans in these stories. So Obelix and Asterix enjoy fighting, and they will leave their jobs to go fight. And Obelisk will leave his job. He will drop everything to go fight with Asterix and to go eat wild boar. All right, in the next video, we'll move on to the Druid Get a Fix. Thanks for watching.